primroses were over. Towards the edge of the wood, the ground came open and sloped down to an old fence and brambly ditch. Beyond, only a few fading patches of pale yellow still showed among the dogs, mercury, and oak tree roots. On the other side, the upper part of the field was full of rabbit holes. In places, the grass was gone altogether, and everywhere there were clusters of dry droppings through which nothing but the ragwort would grow. 100 yards away, at the bottom of the slope, ran the brook, no more than 3 feet wide, half choked with king cups, watercress, and blue brookline. The cart track crossed by a brick culvert and climbed the opposite slope to a 5-barred gate and a thorn hedge. The gate led into the lane. The May sunset was red in clouds, and there was still half an hour to twilight. The dry slope was dotted with rabbits, some nibbling at the thin grass near their holes, others pushing farther down to look for dandelions, or perhaps a cowslip that the rest had missed. Here and there one sat upright on an ant-heap and looked about with ears erect and nose in the wind. But a blackbird singing undisturbed on the outskirts of the wood showed that there was nothing alarming there. And in the other direction, along the brook, all was plain to be seen, empty and quiet. The warren is at peace. At the top of the bank, close to the wild cherry where the blackbird sang, was a little group of holes, almost hidden by brambles. In the green half-light, at the mouth of one of these holes, 2 rabbits were sitting together, side by side. At length, the larger of the 2 came out, slipped along the bank under cover of the brambles, and so down into the ditch and up into the field. A few moments later, the other followed. The first rabbit stopped in his sunny patch and scratched his ear with rapid movements of his hind leg. Although he was still a yearling and still below full weight, he had not the harassed look of most outskirters, that is, the rank and file of ordinary rabbits in the first year, lacking either aristocratic parentage or unusual size and strength, get sat on by their elders and live as best as they can, often in the open, on the edge of the warren. He looked as though he knew how to take care of himself. There was a shrewd, buoyant air about him as he sat up, looked round, and rubbed both of his front paws over his nose. As soon as he was satisfied that all was well, he laid back his ears and set to work on the grass. His companion seemed less at ease. He was small, with wide staring eyes and a way of raising and turning his head which suggested not so much caution as a kind of ceaseless nervous tension. His nose moved continually, and when a bumblebee flew humming to a thistle bloom, he jumped and spun around with a start that sent 2 nearby rabbits scurrying for the holes before the nearest. A buck with black-tipped ears recognized him and returned to feeding.
Oh, it's only Fiver, jumping at blue bottles again. Come on, Buckthorn, what were you telling me?
Fiver? Why is he called that?
5 in the litter, you know. He was the last and the smallest. Wonder nothing had got him by now. I always say a man couldn't see him, and a fox wouldn't want him. Still, I admit, seems to be able to keep out of harm's way.
Rabbits can count up to 4. Any number above 4 is rare, a lot, or 1,000. Thus they say you rare, the 1,000, to mean collectively all the enemies, or allele, as they call them, of rabbits. Fox, stoat, weasel, cat, owl, man, etc. There were probably more than 5 rabbits in the litter when Fiver was born, but his name, Rearu, means little 1,000, i.e. the little one of a lot, or, as they say of pigs, the runt.
Let's go a bit further, Hazel. You know, there's something queer about the warren this evening, although I can't tell exactly what it is. Shall we go down the brook? All right, and you can find me a cowslip. If you can't find one, no one can. Hazel, look!
Cowslips are a delicacy among rabbits, and as a rule, there are very few left by late May in even the neighborhood of a small warren.
Cowslip? All right, just leave it to us. Come on, hurry up. You heard me, didn't you?
Fiver found it, Toadflax, and we'll eat it too.
Cowslips are for owls. Did you know that? If you don't, we could easily teach you.
Nearly all warrens have an owser, or group of strong, clever rabbits, second year or older, surrounding the chief rabbit and his doe, and exercising authority. Owsers vary. In one warren, the owser may be the band of a warlord. In another, it may consist largely of clever patrollers or garden raiders. Sometimes a good storyteller may find a place, or a seer or intuitive rabbit. In the Sandalford Warren at this time, the owser was rather military in character, though, as will be seen later, not so military as some.
I'm sick and tired of it. It's the same all the time. These are my claws, so this is my cowslip. And these are my teeth, so this is my burrow. I'll tell you, if I ever get into the owser, I'll treat outskirders with a bit of decency. Well, you can at least expect to be in the owser one day. You've got some weight coming, and that's more than I shall ever have.
You don't suppose I'll leave you to look after yourself, do you?
But to tell you the truth, I sometimes feel like clearing out of this warren altogether. Still, let's forget it now and try to enjoy the evening. I tell you what, shall we go across the brook? There'll be fewer rabbits and we can have a bit of peace. Unless you feel it isn't safe. No, it's safe enough. If I start feeling there's anything dangerous, I'll tell you. But it's not exactly danger that I seem to feel about the place. It's, I don't know, something oppressive like thunder. I can't tell what, but it worries me. All the same, I'll come across with you. Fiver? What's that? Look. Oh, Hazel! This is where it comes from. I know now. Something very bad. Some terrible thing coming closer, closer. What do you mean? I thought you said there was no danger. I don't know what it is. There isn't any danger here at this moment, but it's coming. It's coming. Oh, Hazel, look. The field is covered with blood. Don't be silly. It's only the light of the sunset. Fiver, come on. Don't talk like this. You're frightening me. Father, you can't sit crying here. Anyway, it's getting dark. We'd better go back to the burrow. Back to the burrow? Come there. Don't think it won't. I tell you, the field's full of blood. Now stop it! Just let me look after you for a bit. Whatever the trouble is, it's time we got back.